What is the best business card for you and your business? So first off, when we talk about business cards, there are a lot of tools that will help you save hundreds of hours of accounting and save a lot of money by making sure your expenses are properly tracked, monetized, and minimized kind of overages and accidental charges and things like that. So one of the tools that I want to talk about specifically is Divi. I use Divi for my company. I run Otter PR. I'm the co-founder and CEO, multi-million-dollar business, and we use this to streamline our accounting, make sure that we're not getting overcharged, and basically create cards for our entire team. So there's a couple things that we're looking at here, and let me just talk about what Divi does as a whole for you guys and understand why you would want this as a business owner and the value that it has to you. So basically, Divi is a virtual credit card with also physical credit cards. So you create an account there, it's free for you, and you're going to then create different users in that platform. So it's a very software-based service. So you can have as many users as you want, and each one of those can have a physical card, but they can also have virtual cards. Now, the advantage to that is, first off, it pulls in all of your data, kind of like QuickBooks would. It's designed as an accounting software, so you can do reconciliation that connects directly to your accounting software, specifically QuickBooks, and reconcile it, but it's also tied down to individuals who's spending, what account they have, and you can give each person a budget. So let's say your team of 100 and 50 of them need cards, but they only need, they're going out to a lunch a month and they have a budget of $50 a person. Whatever that is, you can dial that down very specifically to individual teams, individual people, so that way you don't have to have unseen expenses and overages and really put your business at risk, and you have a lot more control. And then let's say that one of your employees is out at a restaurant and they're, have a customer and they only have a budget for 50, but it's $55. Instead of having them expense it and do that whole process, they can text you, hey, I need to increase the card. And in 2 seconds, their manager, their supervisor can then increase their budget to make sure that they're able to still have that transaction, but still have that monitored for the entire process. All right, so that's the front end of it. So you have, budgets, creating individual cards, having physical cards, having virtual cards. One of my favorite things about this tool is for softwares and for services. So if you're using a CRM or you're using different platforms, even rent, and you're paying with a credit card, let's say that you're supposed to spend $1,000 a month on your CRM and they try to charge you $2,000 or they try to charge you $1,005, the card will automatically shut off and go to you for approval. So this gives you a lot of control and budgeting. That way you can see when they're trying to change prices. And this has saved us, I think I went through our report, we've saved over $500,000 in denied charges. And so that's basically charges that they either changed the price, we wanted to cancel, or we didn't expect to get charged, and it just did not let them. You can also create burner cards. So if you have a one-time purchase and you want to give someone a physical card, a virtual card, they can take a screenshot of it, they can see their card, and they can make a purchase with that burner card, and you don't have to create a whole new budget for them or anything like that. And so that card is super valuable because the card itself can only be $50, but it's not a prepaid card where you put $50 on that card and then if it's not spent, it's lost. All of that money is just a virtual account to your full business account. And so if they spend $10 on the card and then basically after a week it can expire, and so that was it. They spent their $10, that's what you need them to do, and now that card has expired and it's done. So I hope you guys can see the value here. There's going to be a transaction log. So each card is, as you make it, you pre-link it to a budget and then your actual chart of accounts. So if you're using QuickBooks online, it'll link directly and you can pull up your actual chart of accounts, pre-link that. So whoever you just gave that virtual card to, say it was for a meal for a client, then it's already linked to a budget, which would be entertainment, and then a specific chart of accounts, which could be entertainment, it could be a meal, it could be client event, however you're going to categorize that, you're able to take care of that all ahead of time. So instead of having 10,000 transactions a month come in and they need to be reviewed and categorized, they're basically all done ahead of time by the person creating the account, and then you can have one controller go through and make sure that people are doing it correctly, and if they're not, you can do a little bit of training, but it's a much quicker process to go through and audit that and kind of do it as a team versus having one person do it. And one of the great parts about the physical card is on their app, you'll get a notification saying, hey, you just made a purchase, what chart of account does this go into? So everyone can do their own accounting really simply, and then you do still have the ability to audit it. And then once you're ready, you can either automatically sync it with QuickBooks, or you can have a controller review everything and then sync it. And then you can pull kind of what individuals have spent and different things like that. So I hope you have sold you on what type of business credit card you need. So you definitely want one of these tools that's gonna help you with more than just spending. The next thing you're gonna talk about is, of course, do I get points back? Because that's one of the most enticing things. If you're spending $1 million on your credit card, you know, what am I getting back? Am I getting 2% back, 1.5 back? Am I travel points? Whatever you kind of decide to go with. So there's different cards here, so I'm gonna go through a couple of them. So the competitors here, and you might wanna write these down and take a look at what's gonna be best for you. They all have their pros and cons. Ramp, Brex, Divi is the one we just talked about, Airbase, and Stripe. Now, each of them will have their own purpose, their own use, and some of them are going to be easier to get with less business credit, with more. One of the nice things is they actually don't really pull your business credit. They look at your liquidity, and they might look at your chart of accounts or your cash flow to get qualified, so they're not kind of dinging your credit or anything like that, and they don't make you guarantee it. It's all just based on, you know, your accounting and your account. So with Divi, since we talked about that the most, what you're getting there is variable points based on different categories. They're locked in, and the cool thing is if you pay every week versus every month, you get more points. So those points add up very quickly. I know that we use our Divi points mostly for team travel, so you get an extra bonus when you use it towards travel. So instead of 5,000 in cash, you'll get 10,000 in travel points. That adds up quickly, and you're able to, you know, fly your team to customers and bring them in on site if you have a remote team, and you don't have to actually spend that extra cash. And they partner with a really great travel site. I can't remember the name of it right now, but it's a B2B travel site that helps, you know, individuals can have their own card and their own access to the travel site. They can book their own travel. You can set up specific rules. Divi also has that expense software built in. Anyways, obviously I'm a big fan of Divi, so that's that one. Ramp, I know, does 1.5% cash back flat. Brexit does something similar with Divi as variable travel points, variable points based on categories. Airbase is 1.6, and I saw that I think it's almost 2% based on prepaid. So if you use a prepaid card, then you get more money back. And what they're trying to do is lower their risk, and that's the same thing with Divi. Is instead of, you know, they're giving you, because they need less cash flow if you pay them weekly. So you're getting more points for that for paying them weekly. And the last one is Stripe. So Stripe offers 1.5% cash back flat. I think cash back, especially for a lot of businesses, is a great way to go. I know that, you know, our points can be converted to cash, probably not the strongest value, and so that's why we hold them for travel. But I personally, as a business owner and as executive, I love having that travel points because I can use those for more fun things and more activities, bringing team in, send them to events, and I don't have to really consider that as much as an expense. And so that's already like prepaid for, it's all allotted for, and I have that, you know, budget ready to go. All right, guys, so that was a long video explaining this, but it is a critical piece to your accounting to cut down time, save money, and get points. All right, until next time.